The ideas expressed in the following presentations are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of ACI or its committees. ACI web sessions are recorded at ACI conventions or other concrete industry events and will be made available for viewing free of charge for 1 week. Thereafter, they will be archived on the ACI website or added to ACI's online CEU program, depending on their content. You can earn continuing education credits through ACI's online CEU program. Visit www.concrete.org to register. ACI conventions provide an opportunity for networking and for keeping up to date with the latest in concrete technology and practices.
About a year ago, Mr. Daniel Vruno invites me to put this presentation together. And he says, this is just going to take a few minutes. I'm sure you can just bring your notes together and get up there and talk about reinforced concrete history. But he told me that he absolutely had to conclude my talk. So we do this talk last year, a version of this talk at the University of Minnesota Annual Concrete Conference. And I give my talk, a lot of what you've seen today. And at the end, I introduce Dan Vruno. And Dan Vruno comes up and he says, no, I didn't mean for you to introduce me today. I meant to introduce me at the ACI conference. So, now we'll get it right, and I will introduce Mr. Dan Vruno. Did I get it better this time?
It's like she practiced that before. You know, Megan talked about some bridges. The Kaplan, that's how you say it? Kaplan Memorial, Robert Street Bridge, Ford Bridge, Mendota Bridge. Well, Uncle Joe was born before any of those bridges were born. Uncle Joe was born in 1922. So in 1922, 20 years later, he decides he's going to join the Merchant Marines, 1942. He's in the Merchant Marines during the whole war. Okay. So, when Uncle Joe turns 20, he joins the Merchant Marines for some 1942 to 1946. During the war, he's in the Merchant Marines, and in 46, towards the end of the war, he comes into New York Harbor. So in 1946, he sails as a sailor. Uncle Joe, he sails in the New York Harbor. And he told me the story. He said, when we sailed into New York Harbor with all the people coming back from the war in Central Park, they had a big concert for us. He said, there's this little skinny guy there, little skinny guy singing. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was there to greet Uncle Joe when he came back. So when Uncle Joe comes back, he ends up marrying Auntie Jerry, who, by the way, 8 feet away in the house next door, they grew up together. And he marries Uncle Jerry, and he's back working in the concrete business. And what I happen to have here, John came up with this apprentice to journeyman. This is actually 1850. Uncle Joe and 11 other people became journeyman concrete finishers from making it through the apprentice program. So Uncle Joe, he did a lot of concrete finishing, and I apologize for this. I took this on a salty winter day. Oh, by the way, if you look outside, Uncle Joe brought the sun in the warmer weather. Right now, outside, all week it's been miserable. Joe comes over the river from St. Paul, and here we are. He brings the sun. So that Carol and John helped him with this, but that's the entryway. You see the M, and this is last century, so it's still doing good. I want to tell you a little bit about this. One day, we had to fill in those 3 center deals of a semi. And Uncle Joe was the only black layer. John, his son, and my son and I, we were really busy, so we always had one guy there. So we worked 6-hour shifts, put in those 12-inch blocks, and all 3 of those. And Joe was the black layer, and we tended him. And each of us would work a 6-hour shift, and Joe stayed there and worked. I remember the next morning, my first thought was, how does Uncle Joe feel? He was 87, though. He wasn't quite as old. By the way, he turns 91 in May 26th. Very seldom do you meet such a remarkable individual. And the deal, kind of like your grandfather, Jay. We all work, like for me, the heaviest thing I lift is a telephone. I drink tea and I listen to the radio, and Uncle Joe's still out there working. And I don't think I need to talk about him anymore. I should just show some of his work. Here's some, and Mom, Uncle Joe he does art. Not like Art Crackleia, he does real art. So here's some brickwork at Mancini's in St. Paul. Just beautiful work. So, I don't want to talk anymore. I want you guys to meet Uncle. Hey, Tom, just in time. Now that Tom's here, Uncle Joe, you can come on up. Uncle Joe, come on up. We have an award here that leaves Lifetime Achievement Award presented to Joe Vruno for his concrete craftsmanship. Come on right up here, Joe. We got to get right here. Here you go, Joe. Come on, get the paparazzi out here.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
I got a question, Larry?
Hey, Joe, in all your years of finishing the wall concrete work, what's the biggest change from now to when you first started?
Well, they got all the different equipment. We used to take a 20-foot plank and stick down 600 blocks, slide down the plank in 20 minutes. Now they got booms that set them up as high as you want, where you want them, and everything. It's all changed. Trolley machines, you know, they used to make wooden boards to kneel down. Now they got trolley machines that'll push you all over the room. And I got two nephews that are contractors, Graf Construction and Ronnie. Hey, you guys ever take it easy on your uncle? No, I don't think so. I don't think that. There they are.
How he can outwork us. Just think about that. Joe turns 91 in May, and he can outwork a relatively shaped guy. Yeah.
Some days are.
Any other questions for Joe? Because we're going to head back to St. Paul. We are. All right, folks, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.